Yesterday, Kurt Casale's eighth-inning solo shot gave Tampa Bay a lead that the bullpen would make stand. Today, All-Star Chris Archer takes the hill, looking to continue his dominance of the Jays and lead the Rays to a series victory. Another day with brilliant sunshine in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as the Tampa Bay Rays wrap up a three-game series against the Blue Jays. Toronto has never won back-to-back series against the Rays since they became the Rays in 2008. Today is a rubber game of this three-game set. Hi, everybody, and welcome aboard. I'm Todd Callis, filling in for Dwayne Stats, alongside Brian Anderson. And, B.A., when we talk about this finale to the series, we start with the pitchers. Marco Estrada came into his start against the Rays, having gone into the eighth inning of a no-hitter against the Baltimore Orioles. He did even better than that against Tampa Bay, and his opponent has simply owned the Blue Jays.
Oh, I mean, Chris Archer, the damage that he's done against the Toronto Blue Jays in his career is impressive enough. What he's done against them this year is just downright rude. I mean, look at this, a 3-0 record, the ERA .41. Now, that's 22 innings of work over those three starts. He's given up one earned run. He attacks this lineup with that high-octane fastball and that slider. And I'm going to tell you something, these guys, they cannot lay off the slider out of the zone as you see pitch after pitch. And hopefully he gets one of these bats here in a few hours this afternoon. He's throwing the ball well. No reason to think that he won't continue to do that. And you're right about Marco Estrada. What he did against the Rays in his start back on June the 24th, perfect for the first 22 hitters into the eighth inning. Absolutely phenomenal. His best start of the year, the 10 strikeouts. You're going to see a guy coming straight over the top with a fastball, not a ton of movement, and a Bugs Bunny changeup. Not a lot of movement on that pitch either. It just never gets there. It's going to be a fun matchup.
Estrada against Archer, two guys with a ton of success against their opponents, although Estrada just faced the Rays that one time. We'll be back with the finale. It's the Rays and the Jays. Tampa Bay coming off a 3-2 win yesterday, looking to take this series before heading to Philadelphia for a three-game set beginning tomorrow. From the Rogers Center in Toronto, just about ready to get underway as the Rays look to take 2 out of 3 from the Toronto Blue Jays after losing the opener of this 3-game series, coming back with a 3-2 victory yesterday. And here is our Rays lineup, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. John Jaso leading things off. Grady Sizemore bats number 2. Evan Longoria in the 3-hole. James Loney looking for his first hit of this series. Hits cleanup. Logan Forsythe hits number 5. David DeJesus. Tim Beckham has hit in 6 games in a row against the Blue Jays. He hits number 7. Kevin Kiermaier 8. And Rene Rivera hits 9.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Toronto Blue Jays, Marco Estrada. And you can see right there, this will be his 14th start. He started the season out of the bullpen, moved into the rotation on May the 5th. And as a starting pitcher, a 5-5 record, 3.89 on the earned run average as a starter. And we talked about that game already. He was perfect against the Rays into the 8th inning, went 8 2/3 of that game, gave up no runs, and ended up with a no decision, a game that wouldn't be decided for 12 innings. Let's go ahead and take a look at the defense as it lines up behind him here this afternoon. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Chris Colabello, Kevin Pillar, and Jose Bautista. Across that infield, third to first, Josh Donaldson, Jose Reyes, Devin Travis, and Justin Smoke, with Deanna Navarro getting the call behind the plate.
Another brilliant day of sunshine here in Toronto. A lot of fans on hand. We had over 41,000 in yesterday's contest. Not sure if we'll get to that number today, but still a nice crowd as the Jays come in 1 game under 500 at 46 and 47, and the Rays just the opposite, 1 game over 500 at 47 and 46. Tampa Bay starts the day trailing the New York Yankees, who lost to the Mariners yesterday by 3.5 games. So Marco Estrada will start this game against John Jaso, and our first pitch, brought to you by Pinch a Penny, is a little bit low and outside, ball 1. Jaso has been in the leadoff spot all 3 games of this series, coming in hitting a healthy 400, 12 for 30, coming back from that wrist injury. On base percentage just below 500 and a slugging percentage of 600. Jaso with a couple of hits in yesterday's game, 2 for 4.
Well, and what John Jaso is going to do is solidify that leadoff spot. He's a good on-base guy, not a typical leadoff hitter when you think about slapping the ball, get on base, steal a bag, occasionally a stolen base, but more of the on-base threat is what John Jaso is, and that's going to help this offense out tremendously.
Hits one to right field. Jose Bautista looks up in the sun and, shielding his eyes, makes the play.
Well, you can already see the way that he went after that fly ball, and that's with sunglasses on. That sun will be a factor again on pop-up, so communication will be key. You can see Jose Bautista right there trying to get a good look as he looked right up into that sun.
Talking to the Rays middle infielders, Logan Forsythe and Tim Beckham, they said yesterday, first couple of innings was unbelievably difficult. They said as the day went along, it got better. But they said first 2 innings, you're looking up at the sun is seemingly right on top of you. So we can see it early, playing a factor here as Grady Sizemore swings and sends one to right field. Another test for Bautista. This one he comes in and makes the play, and there's 2 away.
Well, that's what Marco Estrada does. Now listen, he not overpowering with the stuff, and you want to talk about a fly ball pitcher. You know, this is the norm for him. I mean, he is way more fly balls than ground balls. Not a ton of movement, but he's straight over the top. He creates a pretty good angle, and his changeup and fastball look just like each other. And you'll see him play those 2 pitches off each other all afternoon.
Evan Longoria, the hitter. There is that changeup at 87, about a 10-mile-an-hour separation. Normally that changeup can get in there. Excuse me, that was the fastball at 87. The changeup.
See, that's how good it is.
The changeup's a little bit in the 78, 79 range.
Yep.
There's the curveball, which will feature as well. 3-pitch pitcher.
And that curveball, occasional, just to show guys that he has it. But I'll tell you, that fastball, and he will work the fastball up in the zone too at 88, 89 tops.
There's the change. And it's 1-2 to Longoria. 272 coming in for Evan. 375 hitter against the Blue Jays this season. All his numbers against the Jays are the tops of any team he has faced in his career.
Now that's what he tried to do right there. You know, you start to lull a hitter to sleep with a lot of off speed and then try to rush that fastball. He jumped on that one at 90 miles an hour, but Evan was able to spoil it.
Fastball misses, and the count's 2-2. Very responsive crowd early on, reacting to every pitch.
You knew that during the national anthem because it was an organ today, and the Canadian national anthem, they all sang it. It was fantastic. So yeah, this is a raucous crowd.
And they're pleased to see that swing and a miss to end the first inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Marco Estrada, picking up where he left off at Tropicana Field in his last start. Chris Archer to the hill when we come back. Center, time to look at the Jays lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jose Reyes leads things off. Josh Donaldson hits second. Jose Batista in the 3 spot. Edwin Encarnacion, the DH. Gianna Navarro gets his first start of the series. A former Ray behind the plate. Justin Smoke at first base. Chris Colabello back in left. And you have Kevin Pillar and Devin Travis rounding out your lineup.
Taking the mound for the Rays this afternoon, right-hander Chris Archer making that 20th start of the season, looking to get that 10th win. All the other numbers outstanding. The numbers against this Blue Jay lineup better than any team.
Misses with the first one to Reyes.
3 starts against this team already, and he's absolutely owned them. 22 innings of work, 1 earned run given up.
On the ground, Forsythe. 1 out on 2 pitches.
Now let's take a look at that Ray defense as it's going to line up behind Chris here this afternoon. Defense brought to you by BMW, and left to right in the outfield you're going to have DeJesus, Kiermaier, and Sizemore. Across that infield, third to first, Longoria. Tim Beckham gets the start at short. Logan Forsythe and James Loney with Rene Rivera back behind the plate.
Josh Donaldson digs in. All-star third baseman, starter for the American League, leading vote getter in this year's balloting. Pops one high in the air, foul. Rivera gives it a courtesy look, but it's out of play. It's not just the ERA which stands out for Archer. It's the hits and the walks, too, for the season against this team. This is the best offense in baseball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just goes full attack mode against everybody, but against this particular lineup, his stuff just plays well. I mean, the fastball, he's able to power it by him. The slider, a great chase pitch.
Line drive to right, going back is Sizemore, and he's there for the second out.
And you know, after 3 starts, the other thing that he's done, that Chris Archer's done, is this team obviously, you know, a home run is a big part of their game. He's kept them in the yard. He's kept them in the yard in his career. 12 starts against this team. He's only given up 5 home runs, just 1 this year. So, you keep this team in the yard and you attack them, and you've got a chance. And he has the stuff to be able to go out and do that.
See his career numbers against Toronto. This year, the 22 innings, only 7 hits and 4 walks allowed in 22 innings.
No base runners.
Unbelievable.
No base runner. I mean, think about it.
Everything works against you. You see them all the time. They're
Yeah.
the best offense in baseball, and you're just dominated.
Yeah, you give up a base runner every other inning. Not too bad. Not too bad. And at what point now does it become a mental battle? Chris Archer obviously feels like he owns this team. These hitters, are they defeated coming in? Are you already like, oh, we got Archer. What are we going to do? How are we going to put this together? That's why you expect an aggressive lineup like the Blue Jays to be even more aggressive today. Say, hey, listen, he's owned us. We can't let him get to 2 strikes. Let's go out there and swing the bats.
2-1 the count to Jose Bautista, who hit a home run in yesterday's game, his 18th of the season. For Jose, his 11th since June 1st.
Well, and that was a big home run off Steve Geltz. That would give the Blue Jays the lead, but the Rays would answer with 2 solo shots of their own to pull out that victory. But that was a bomb.
Now the count is full. Bautista has had his share of struggles over his career against Archer. Just 2 for 26 in his career, both singles. Doesn't strike out a lot against him. Puts the ball in play. Just 3 strikeouts of those 26 at bats, but not many hits in the fold. There's a stop by Evan Longoria. Can't get up and throw out the runner. Longoria with the great diving stop, but couldn't get his feet under it.
That was the turf. Yeah, he slipped on the turf. He made a great play, had plenty of time to scramble to his feet and make the throw, and watch him lose his footing on this new turf. That's all it takes.
I love the Beckham reaction behind him. He was so excited that he made the play, and it's just frustrating that he couldn't get up and make the throw. That's Longoria. Most guys are watching that ball go into left field. That's a great stop.
And here's the thing. He's not been a fan of this turf anyway. So I after something like that, live it right now.
He'll be happy not to get back here in September.
Yep.
There's some seams in that turf, too. They haven't played a big role in any of the games, but this is a turf that the Rays saw early in the season. It played very slow back then. It has gotten a bit quicker, but still a slow surface compared to the Rays at Tropicana Field. 1-1 the count to Edwin Encarnacion. Archer has had success against Encarnacion as well, holding him to 4 hits and 28 at bats.
Well, right there, you talk about the last 2 hitters. You control Bautista, you control Encarnacion, you keep Josh Donaldson in the park. You're going to pitch very well against this team.
1-2 the count. Ben May said that Encarnacion went around. Young 33-year-old umpire. Got his first taste of the big leagues last season.
Tell you the other thing that's been interesting is this entire series, Rays pitchers against Bautista and Encarnacion. Maybe 1 or 2 pitches have been middle of the plate in the whole series. Just stay away, stay away, stay away, because these guys want to pull.
Tried to get him to chase the slider. Does not get the chase. It's 2-2. Last time Chris Archer pitched for the Rays, it was a difficult outing in Kansas City. Gave up a career-high 9 runs in that game. Also a career-high tying 12 hits. Pitched in the All-Star game in Cincinnati on Tuesday as Archer misses. Now the count's full. Back-to-back hitters. Yonder Navarro waits on deck. Should Encarnacion reach?
Bautista will be off and running here with this delivery.
In the air, deep center, but Kiermaier has a beat on it, and he makes the play. Moving to his left. Chris Archer allows an infield hit. We're scoreless after 1. Baseball on Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By USAA, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years. And by Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. Beautiful afternoon to be on the water on Lake Ontario. Right here outside the city of Toronto. Great weekend to be in Toronto. Pan American games going on until July 26th. Very busy weekend here. North of the border is James Loney, Logan Forsythe, David DeJesus face Marco Estrada, and a check swing foul ball to start the second.
Yeah, that changeup just so difficult to recognize. And James Loney, one of the Rays hitters that has a really good idea at the plate, recognizes pitches very well, and you could see fooled on that first pitch change.
Takes that one away. It's 1-1.
I mean, that really is a true Bugs Bunny changeup. You think about some of the changeups that have good finish. They look like splits. Some are splits. This one just four-seam spin, and it just never, ever gets there.
Away, it's 2-1.
And by the way, you were talking about there's always something happening when we come to Toronto.
Yeah.
The Pan Am games. Next time we come into town, it's the
Toronto Film Festival.
Yeah, that'll be a zoo.
International Film Festival is awesome.
It is.
TIFF. They call it TIFF here.
And we're up here for TIFF almost every year.
It seems like it. I think we're part of it. I think we're part of the film festival. 2-2 the count to Loney. Marco Estrada started his career with the Washington Nationals, pitched a couple of seasons in the National League with them, and then went to the Brewers for 5 years. Acquired in the offseason in a trade for Adam Lynn. And now making his 14th start for the Blue Jays after he started the year 6 times out of the bullpen. Facing the Rays for the second time in his career. Retired 22 of them in a row to start that game at Tropicana Field, and went through the Rays in 1-2-3 fashion in the first here today.
Marco Estrada, his numbers aren't eye-popping, but this is a guy, and because he started the season out of the bullpen, he doesn't qualify as a starter. But if he did, his batting average against would be in the top 10. I mean, he can absolutely befuddle a lineup. Look at these swings here. I mean, James Loney, you got to tip your hat to him for staying alive and fouling these pitches off, but we haven't seen an aggressive James Loney-like swing yet.
That literally went off the end of the bat. He's playing defense, isn't he?
He really is. And he's just buying time, hoping for one mistake, and that's the sign of a good hitter right there. This guy, Marco Estrada, is making some really tough pitches against him, and look at what he's doing. I mean, just out of sync, out in front a little bit, but keeping his hands back, and he's able to foul it off and live to see another pitch.
Up the middle, base hit. How about that at bat by James Loney, a 9-pitch AB. And he singles to start the second.
And where that fastball was, that had a little elevation to it, and the way that James Loney hit it makes you think that he was almost saying, you've thrown me enough changeup, I've spoiled enough, you're going to come with the heater. He stayed short and was direct to the baseball, right back up the middle. That was a tremendous at-bat.
So Loney on base for the first time in this series, as the hitter will be Logan Forsythe. First time on base with a base hit. He did walk in his last plate appearance on Friday night. Logan's had a good series. 3 for 6, including a double in this set against the Blue Jays. Takes a pitch down low, 1-0. With Logan's last at bat in the game yesterday, that gave him 316 at bats. That is a new career mark for him, surpassing 315 ABs he had with San Diego in 2012. The Rays have played just 93 games. Logan will have career numbers in every category. either in the next couple weeks or certainly by the end of the season.
And he's earned every one of those at-bats. I mean, he really has done a tremendous job for the Rays, not only in the lineup, but his play at second base, out in the field.
Upstairs, and Logan Forsythe ahead of the count 3-0. Logan's the guy that broke up the perfect game bid for Marco Estrada, with David DeJesus being robbed prior to that at bat on a catch by Josh Donaldson in the stands. But Forsythe, with an infield hit, 1 out into the 8th inning, broke up the perfect bid of Estrada against the Rays at Tropicana Field. That was a game played on June 24th. Estrada hasn't pitched great since then, but he was kind of gassed after those 2 starts. That one and the one in Baltimore where he had the no-hitter going because he threw a lot of pitches.
That's it, a lot of pitches. You add those up, he was approaching 250 over those 2 games. Those are, levels that aren't unheard of. You just don't hear about them much nowadays.
3-1 pitch is pop foul. Is it playable? Smoke giving it a look. No, it's 2 rows deep. DeJesus does not want to remember this play, but this is incredible in the 8th inning.
Well, the effort.
Oh, I mean, 3 rows deep.
I mean, that is. You got a lot of interference in front of you, leaping the small wall. Got to keep your eye on the ball.
I heard him talking about that catch during the All-Star break. Some of the guys in Cincinnati, and he said he saw the guy with the big white jersey, and he thought, I might have a chance if he helps me out. He said that guy probably saved him some stitches in his face because he landed right on that guy. 3-2 pitches fly to the center. Loney was on the move. Now he will retreat as Kevin Pillar puts it away for the first out. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo by using the hashtag #SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag #SSDataStrongFan. 1 out, 1 on, and the aforementioned David DeJesus, who was robbed of an extra pitch or 2 in that at bat by Josh Donaldson, at the plate. .318 average for Dave over his last 8 games, has that average up to 270. Pitch from Estrada misses away. It's 1-0. Of all the Rays players in the lineup, not many have a ton of at-bats against Marco Estrada, pitching primarily or exclusively in the National League before this year. But DeJesus saw him a bunch over there. He has 20 ABs. 1 home run, 4 hits, so he struck out 6 times. There's a called strike, 1-1. Nobody else on the team has more than 6 plate appearances. DeJesus has seen him 20 times plus, or 20 times exactly.
Well, and David, one of those hitters too, kind of like James Loney, looks to go up the middle the other way, and if he's going to, stay away, look for him to use the left side of the infield there. That's what you gotta be wary of, and that's the one thing, like you said, when you've got 20 at bats against a guy, you got a pretty good idea of how he goes about attacking you. So you've got a game plan going in. A lot of the other guys just kind of feeling their way right now, which always will give the advantage to the pitcher.
Two and 2 the count to DeJesus. Rays dropped the first game of the series 6-2. Came back with a 3-2 win yesterday afternoon. Trying to take the series with a win today. Toronto has not taken back-to-back series against the Rays since 2007, when they were known as the Devil Rays. One thing Estrada does well is he usually keeps that pitch count in pretty good order. The Rays have done a good job. The Loney 9-pitch at bat. Now DeJesus staying alive. Moving his pitch total up here. It's at 31 right now. 1 out into the second. Close, and that is Ben Mace at ball 4. David DeJesus heard him say ball 4.
Yeah.
And started running, and then Ben May said, wait, I gave you a bad verbal cue.
Yeah, so David DeJesus looks like the guy that doesn't know what he's talking about, getting razzed here by the fans. But you're right, you can hear him yell ball 4 and then hold up the 3 as David ran off. Like, they're going to give me a walk? I'll take it.
Just kidding. Sorry about that. Yeah, Dave does look like the bad guy. But you could hear it on our mics.
Yeah,
clearly.
You absolutely could hear it. And by the way, I'm not sure that was ball 3. That was a pretty good pitch right there that he took for that ball.
But Dave thought he got away with 2 things. They called third strike, he had a walk at the same time. Instead, the count's full. There goes Loney, swinging a miss. Navarro from his knee throws out Loney, strike him out, throw him out. So DeJesus strikes out, Loney thrown out. And we're through an inning and a half, scoreless. Bottom half of the second inning. Rays and Jays scoreless. Yonder Navarro, the former member of the Tampa Bay Rays, will lead things off for Toronto in the second inning. Navarro, one of the few guys in this Toronto lineup, along with Jose Reyes, who has good numbers against Chris Archer, 6 for 18 with a couple of home runs. And Navarro starts with a foul ball back to the screen.
Yonder Navarro, anytime you go up against a former team, you want to stick it to them. You want to show them, hey, listen, this is what you could still have, anytime. And that was just a mistake there by Archer. A fastball that stayed out over the plate.
The role of a backup catcher never easy. You get one start on the weekend, and oh, by the way, you get Chris Archer.
Yeah, no, that is a tough assignment, no question.
Does not chase that pitch. That's exactly where Rene Rivera wanted it. And it's 1-2.
Well, and now if you're Chris Archer with a 1-2 count, you can go back up there. But now, if you want, you can also set up that slider, because with the left-handed hitter, he gets a ton of depth with that pitch.
Line drive bullet kind of caught Logan Forsythe more than Logan caught the ball, and there's he says, "Wow,
yeah,
there's one out."
And he's playing deep. He's back. He's got room to maneuver out there at second base, and that ball got on him right now. Almost handcuffed him.
Here's Justin Smoke. 1 out, nobody aboard. Archer allowed just an infield hit in the first inning. Chris Archer trying to make history today. They didn't keep records since before 1914. But since then, over the last 100 years, these 5 pitchers have gone 7 innings, allowed 3 hits or fewer, 1 earned run or less. And there's the list of the last 100 years.
I mean, that's impressive. That is impressive. And look at some of the names on there. Kershaw, Koufax.
That's our Toyota trend of the day.
Yeah, that's absolutely dominant. You know, you think about the worst outing that you could possibly have would be 7 innings, 3 hits, and a run.
Yeah.
And that's a stellar outing. That's the worst you could have. They've been better than that. And so to do that against, like you said, the same opponent, you know, this is his 4th start against the Blue Jays this season. The familiarity, and they still haven't figured him out.
Forsythe from deep in the shift throws out Justin Smoke for the 2nd out. That's the other thing. Some of those other names, they might see those teams over a couple, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Archer had his last start last year plus the 3 this year, now seeing them for the 5th time in a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it all the more impressive. And, you know, it's interesting. You talk to pitchers when they're pitching well against a team like he has against the Blue Jays. You know, you're not going to change your game plan too much. You'll tweak it here or there. But if it's the old, you know, moniker, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, these guys know what you've been doing and what's been working, so they're trying to make the adjustment to you. So, you know, you go in with that same game plan or a similar game plan, but know that you may have to tweak it very quickly, you know, because these guys obviously are not just going to let you sit back and keep abusing them with the same sequences.
Chris Colabello gets a start today against Chris Archer. Colabello called up May 5th. 2 of Chris's 3 starts this year were prior to that against Toronto. And Colabello did not play in that last one that Chris pitched against the Blue Jays on June 23rd. So he's facing Archer for the first time. Behind in the count, 0-2. And Archer makes quick work the first time he sees Chris Colabello. A 1-2-3 inning for Chris. We're through 2. Both teams with a hit and no run. It's Christmas in July, and Sunday, July 26th, the Rays will be celebrating when they host the Orioles. Kids 14 and under receive a Rays surprise Christmas gift. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up.
That's kind of popular. You know, Christmas in July. It's snow day.
Snow day here.
In July here.
How about it?
Their giveaway today was a pair of mittens. Nice. Kind of hoping these fans would wear them during the game, muffle that cheering, but smarter than that.
There are, speaking of fans, a lot of fans being waved amongst the fans. It's in the mid-80s, maybe low 80s here, a little bit humid. For Floridians, no problem. People in Toronto, this is a scorcher.
I had a problem getting over here. Lugging a lot of stuff.
Right, coming off a workout.
Yeah, and was in a full lather. I mean, full lather by the time I got to the booth.
But now you're fine.
Now I'm fine.
Okay. But yeah, that's you had circumstances.
That's true.
Workout, lugging stuff over here, trying to move quickly. You had a lot going against you. 2-0 the count to Tim Beckham leading off the third inning. Beckham grounds one past Charlie Montoyo for a foul ball. It's 2-1. There you see one of the fans.
Yeah, this is Florida. You know, this is when you wake up in Tampa, St. Pete. This kind of weather, and it just, you add on another 10, 15 degrees.
Two and two. Estrada with that fastball changeup combination that really kept the Rays off balance in his last start. Coming out strong again this afternoon. And Beckham with a line drive, fair ball down the left field line. He's done it again. Tim Beckham has now hit in 7 consecutive games against the Blue Jays with 5 extra base hits during that time. Beckham with a leadoff double.
Well, and he was able to stay back on the changeup long enough. Here it is, that ball down and in, and he's able to just drop the head, and right there, as you can see, excited to keep it fair. Although, just keep running. They'll let you know.
Beckham is excitable, no doubt. He's just so happy right now to be back at the big league level, and he hits well against the Blue Jays, and I'm sure Jose Reyes has given it to him a little bit over at the second base bag. He's a leadoff base runner on second, and now the Jays expecting a bunt. We'll see what they get from Kevin Kiermaier. He does show bunt, takes it away for ball 1.
Well, Josh Donaldson is in playing the bunt, you know, and obviously if it's not bunted or bunted soft enough, he's going to peel back to third for maybe a potential play. But these are those situations that we're talking about. Nobody out. You know, drive him in. If you can't drive him in, you don't drive him in. At least get him over. Fundamentals.
Bunted at Donaldson, but nobody covering third. The throw by Donaldson is in time. And a nice play by Travis as he was kind of getting over to the bag while the throw was in the air.
Well, when you've got Kevin Kiermaier running, everybody's on high alert. And so Josh Donaldson gets to the bunt in a timely manner, and he's got plenty of time to throw him out, but he's got to kind of wait for Travis to get over to first base. And then as he throws that ball a little bit behind him, you're going to see Travis, he's going to have to cover that ground and beat Kiermaier to the bag. Throw behind him. A nice actual job of making the adjustment, catching that while the feet were draped over first base.
On that defensive alignment, they basically gave up third base because Donaldson was crashing. Reyes didn't cover third. And Devin Travis moved over to first with Smoke looking for the bunt. So now Rene Rivera hits with the infield in and takes a pitch for ball 1. Better execution lately coming out of the All-Star break for the Rays.
And that's what they have to do. That's what they have to do. That will make a difference. This team averaged just over 3.5 runs a game, you know, up to the All-Star break. They're going to obviously have to be better than that if they want to play into October. And it's little things like that that will make the difference.
This is the change, 1-1.
Except for this. Now they've done that job. They've gotten them over. Now you got to get them in.
Rivera has faced Estrada 3 times, 0 for 3. Now the count's 2-1. Rene has 24 runs batted in on the season. 14 of those in his last 22 games. So he's starting to pick it up a little bit leading into the All-Star break. Count evens at 2.
Well, trying to crowd him with that fastball the last 2 pitches. He's gotten the count now to 2-2, and I'd be shocked after the way that Rene Rivera swung through the changeup earlier in the count. I'd be shocked if he didn't see one right here as he goes for the strikeout. That's what he needs right now.
Stayed alive.
Yeah, and tempting fate there too, because Rene Rivera, the last couple of hacks on that fastball have been pretty good.
So it's just screaming for a changeup right
now. That pitch, it was screaming for a changeup. You better believe it's screaming for one now. You've got a guy that's just taken big hacks at the last 2 pitches, and there's no way he stays back on the changeup here.
Curveball, take it low, 3-2.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, if I'm Rene Rivera, if I'm in that Rays dugout, I'm saying thank you. I mean, you've had him set up for the changeup now for 2 straight pitches, and you've let him off the hook, and now you've got a chance.
Now he's got to throw a strike because it's 3-2 and the top of the order is due up.
There you go.
And Rivera tires of waiting as Estrada and Navarro having trouble getting together on the signs. Ball ripped, but it is ripped foul down the left field line. He was ahead of that pitch.
Yeah, that was a changeup, and he left it up. But the problem with the changeup there is it came after a curveball. So, you know, the 2 fastballs that you came in, and actually there were 3 in a row. One was a ball, 2 that he swung and fouled off. Those 3 fastballs had you set up to be out in front and swing over the changeup. Now you slow him back down with a curveball. Then you come with the changeup, and he's able to have a better swing at it.
Cat and mouse game. Who wins this one? Rivera gets the ball into the air, but it's shallow. Will they challenge Colabello? Beckham starts and stops. Colabello's throw is way offline. The Rays don't know that when they hold Beckham, but there's 2 outs in the inning.
Log that away for future reference, because Colabello was shallow. I mean, there was no way that you were going to challenge him there, but with the throw from shallow left field that far offline, maybe you start to rethink how you attack Colabello in the outfield.
So it's still a scoreless game as Rivera could not get the ball deep enough to score Beckham. And now it's up to John Jaso with 2 outs.
That's what Kevin Cash is asking Tom Foley right now. Would you have sent him? Last year, would you have sent him there? Because if you would have, we'd be winning right now, 1-0.
Colabello gets taken out for defense on a regular basis. He's not a good outfielder. And he just showed that his arm is not exactly on target either.
Why don't you tell everybody how you really feel?
Here's John Jaso. I mean, when you get taken out for a game.
Wow.
Oh, the throw down to third. They get Beckham.
Yep. Quick Deandre Navarro. I mean, quick down to third. They saw something in the secondary lead, and they were able to throw behind Beckham. Now you're going to want to maybe take a look at this. Yeah, I think that they want to take a look at that and see if they want to challenge, but I think they got him. Donaldson got that tag onto the right hand of Beckham before he got back to the bag. But that's why you got to be careful with those secondary leads, because big league catchers will throw behind you.
So Kevin Cash has seen the review, at least through Chris Fernandez's eyes, and says we are not challenging, so that'll do it for the inning. They did hold up play initially. The bottom half of the 3rd inning, scoreless. Beckham picked off to end the inning. Chris Archer goes back to work. He'll face 8, 9, and 1 in the Blue Jay lineup, starting with Kevin Pillar, who takes the first pitch for a strike.
Well, another situation offensively. They got the first half right. Runner on second, nobody out, get him over on the bunt. But now you've got to be able to get him in. Those are the opportunities you cannot continually let slide by. And this is the pickoff right here. You see the secondary lead coming inside, but I'll tell you what, Deanna Navarro saw something in that secondary lead, because he caught that pitch with the idea, I'm going right to third right now, and he was able to get him.
Pillar stays alive with 2 strikes. Kevin has struggled in his career against Archer like a lot of these Blue Jays. Kevin is 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts lifetime against Chris Archer. Archer has the 1 strikeout so far today that came against Chris Colabello to end the second. Sliced down the right field line, foul into the crowd.
Well, here's that Deanna Navarro. Watch this release right here, as he's got an open lane with Jaso up at the plate, left-handed hitter. And right here, boom. I mean, he had that ball up in the zone. He got it and went right down there, lulled Beckham to sleep.
On the ground, 2 hops for Longoria, throws on the move, and there's 1 out here in the third. Navarro's thrown out 2 runners from the knees today.
Yeah, well, and both throws so impressive. That one to second base, and I know it was James Loney running, but it still has to be accurate and a strong throw. And it was. And then with Tim Beckham there, he had him set up perfect with the left-handed hitter, the ball that was up in the zone, and the fact that he thought that Beckham on the secondary lead's getting a little too far anyway. He just kind of caught it, no look, and then quick release.
Devin Travis, the rookie second baseman, takes a pitch down and away. Our GMC big matchup of the day is Devin Travis. What he's done his last 16 games. Also, he has fared well against the Rays this year, hitting at .365, including 6 of his 12 hits for extra bases. There's a strike, 1-1.
And what's been impressive is we've seen him with opposite field juice. I mean, pushing the ball out to right center field with authority.
Florida State Seminole Devin Travis batting in the number 9 spot in this prolific lineup. And it's now 2-1. Travis missed 36 games due to a shoulder injury, and still his numbers are right there with any rookie in the American League. On the ground, Forsythe to his left. 2 away.
You saw the hit break out there on Travis. He tried to make it number 28 into right field, but Logan Forsythe, these Rays infielders are always well positioned. It's not going to be, it's not foolproof, it's not 100%, but typically they're in the right spot. And I'll tell you what, they've all got very, very good hands, good soft hands, good throwers.
2 outs, nobody on. Jose Reyes, top of the lineup for Toronto. Looks at a pitch away after showing bunt. It's funny, you think about the middle infield coming into spring training. That was one of the big question marks for the Rays. And it's hard to imagine anybody but Forsythe at second or anybody but Cabrera at short when he comes back from the DL.
They tried to move Forsythe. When James Loney went down, okay, we're going to take Forsythe and put him over at first base. Good hands, good glove. That didn't take very long where they're like, you know what, why are we weakening 2 positions? Let's get him back to second base because he's been locked down there, and we'll rotate guys in at first base. And you're right, Asdrubal Cabrera, he wanted short bad. He got his first taste of second base last year at the end of the year, said enough of that, went into camp, won that job rather quickly, and he's been fantastic.
Can Tim Beckham get there? Long run, no. Longoria and Beckham slide. Neither one really had a shot. They both gave a great effort, but it was just in a place they couldn't get to.
That's the Bermuda Triangle right now for the Rays, because there was one yesterday, a play that could have been made in a similar spot that was not. That one a little bit more difficult, but wisely, Beckham and Longoria, if they continue running, they're going to become one. So they both hit the turf. Unfortunately, the ball did too.
2-1 the count to Reyes. He has the best average of all the Blue Jays against Archer. coming in at 360, but of those 9 hits and 25 at bats, just 1 extra base hit, a triple against Chris. Now the count's 2-2. Archer has faced 9 batters, allowed just 1 hit. It was an infield hit. Has not walked anybody and struck out 1. First through an inning and a third for the American League All-Star team in the All-Star game in Cincinnati on Tuesday. There's a swing and a miss at the slider, and Reyes is tagged by Rivera for the final out of the third. 2 strikeouts for Chris Archer. We're through 3 scoreless. Save you 15% on car insurance. By Checkers, mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Paddleboarding on the lake. Good core exercise right there.
Yeah, to stay afloat.
Everything. Paddle, stay afloat, to move in choppy waters.
It just seems like there'd be a better way to move through the water than that.
Pop up on the infield. Smoke makes the play. First out. Don Jaso retired. Time for our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Grady Sizemore due up for the Rays, and he brought the lumber in game 1 of the series.
Grady Sizemore trying to find his way on this team, contribute, came out with a bang. And this series came out with a bang.
Sizemore's 2nd home run since joining the Rays. Takes a pitch for a called strike, 0-1. Sizemore and the Rays heading into Philadelphia tonight. Grady spent the first couple of months of the season with the Philadelphia Phillies, 98 at bats with them. And it's a foul tip, 0-2. And the Phillies, with their record, decided probably better served giving some young guys at bats, let Grady Sizemore go, and now he's been with the Rays, hitting .222 with a couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. Pitch up high, sent it to left field, and in is Colabello for the 2nd out. So 2 hits allowed thus far by Marco Estrada. Both of those hits were retired on the bases by Deoner Navarro. So just like in the game at Tropicana Field, he's faced the minimum 2 outs into the 4th.
And here we are, settling right into a pitching duel. We knew that that we had the opportunity to see this, the way Marco Estrada threw the ball against the Rays and the way that Chris Archer always throws the ball against the Blue Jays, and here we are.
A couple of outings out of the bullpen for Estrada, plus that start at Tropicana Field. He's got 16 2/3 scoreless against Tampa Bay this year.
Well, and it goes back to the fundamentals offensively, executing, runner, you get him over, get him in. Those are the things that matter in games like this.
Away, it's 2-0. Couple Long Beach State guys going head-to-head. Marco Estrada against fellow dirtbag Evan Longoria.
Is there a better moniker for a baseball player, than a dirtbag?
They love it.
They do. They have grasped it, seized it, run with it. I mean, that's the thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they have a nickname, 49ers.
Yeah.
But nobody uses it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That when you've got a nickname that trumps the actual official nickname, then it's a good one.
2-1 to Evans, sends the ball in the air to left. Colabello started in, now he drifts back, and Pillar's making the call, and the center fielder takes over for the final out. So again, minimum through 4 for Estrada. Scoreless.
Still scoreless. Let's talk a little bit about Chris Archer. I know Todd and VA have been raving about what he does on the mound, but what he does off the mound and just his entire character is just off the charts. You see this guy who was already in Cincinnati, so why go back down south? Why not just go straight to Toronto and spend the week with the USA baseball team? The Pan Am games are going on here in Toronto. He hung out with the men and the women's team. Todd, VA, he has a signed cleat from the entire women's baseball team, not the women's softball team, the women's baseball team. Chris Archer just thinks it's the coolest thing ever that these women are playing ball in the same size field, same everything as he does. And these girls are throwing some 80 miles an hour.
Pretty impressive. Chris Archer spending a lot of time in and around the Toronto area. Also visited the RBI baseball program here in Toronto.
It's amazing how busy he keeps himself with community activities like that. And we talked with him after the game on Friday, walking back to the hotel, and he said, listen, I love Toronto. So after that All-Star game, I made a beeline, and he came up here and just immersed himself. And that the baseball game that he went to, I think, was like an hour outside.
Over in Ajax.
Yeah. Outside of downtown, and just always making himself available and making a big difference on and off the field.
Archer visited the RBI program in Cleveland the last road trip prior to the All-Star game. Now here in Toronto, visiting that RBI program. He said in the All-Star break at the All-Star game, now with a bigger platform, he hopes to make even more of an impact. And there is a check swing, no swing, says Laz Diaz, and the count's 3-1 on Josh Donaldson.
And walking back to the hotel with you and Chris the other night, I felt like a bodyguard almost. Just trying to keep guys away from you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole way.
Tried to check, but he went around. It's 3-2.
It was a lot of fun. I felt very important. Like, you guys, just clear out. It's Todd and Chris.
Yeah.
Todd and Chris to the hotel.
Chris Archer, what a year. Coming off a difficult end to the first half, but he has been lights out pretty much every start of the season. And there's a ground ball and 2 big hops to Tim Beckham. Donaldson retired for the first out here in the 4th inning. Well, coming as advertised, the battle between Estrada and Archer early on.
Well, you knew runs were going to be at a premium. You know, Chris Archer, he's given up 1 earned run to this team, and he's halfway through his 4th start against them this season. And so it's just amazing what he's been able, to accomplish against the most powerful offense in Major League Baseball. And really, it's not close.
They average 5.3 runs a game.
Yeah, which is, listen, relatively speaking, it's off the charts. It's not off the chart. You go back 10 years ago. How about the Indians team in, 2001? Scored over 1,000 runs.
Game.
It was a completely different game. So relatively speaking, the way that the game is now, 5 point whatever is amazing.
2-0 the count to Batista. Batista has reached base. There you see 5-3-1. The next closest team 4-6-2. That's a differential that we haven't seen since the 1950s, where teams had that big of a cushion over the next closest run scoring team. It's now 2-1.
And the reason that they're able to do that is because they can score many different ways. Obviously the home run plays a big part, but they're a pretty good running team.
Gets him on the ground to Beckham again, and Beckham makes the play. 2 in a row to start the 4th.
They lead big league baseball in doubles, so those are instant run scoring opportunities. They're the best hitting team with runners in scoring position. They do a ton of damage with 2 outs. They just really keep the pressure on you the entire ball game. And as we saw yesterday with that stat of 36 times they've scored at least 4 runs in an inning. That's incredible.
36 times.
Yeah.
19 times they've scored 5.
That's just quick strike, put the game away ability.
Next closest team to score 5 runs or more in an inning had 12. There they are. First. Home runs are 3rd, but we saw the team that was first, the Houston Astros, and the Rays pitching staff was able to take care of them for 3 games.
Well, and a lot of teams like that are going to lead like that, like the Astros, that's how they're going to score their runs. They really, there's not many other ways. That they're do or die type swingers, and so they're powerful, yes, but so is Toronto, but they're multifaceted. They create other opportunities to score, and that's why they have such a huge lead in runs per game.
1-1 pitch high in the air, shallow center. Out goes Forsythe, but it's Kiermaier's play, and Kevin waits for it, puts it away for the final out. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Archer. He's retired 10 straight. We're through 4 scoreless.
The Pan Am Games are going on. It's where the Americas compete in a number of different sports: archery, baseball, basketball, sailing, you name it. BA, they even have some weightlifting. I don't know if it's too late to sign up. The opening ceremony was just right here at Rogers Center. And like the Olympic torch, the Pan Am Games have their own torch. It's lit from July 10th through the 26th. Currently, the United States of America is leading with 137 medals, including 51 gold. Todd?
Thank you, Emily. That torch is lit right outside of the Rogers Center at the base of the CN Tower. Emily had a chance to go up to the top of the CN Tower yesterday as James Loney leads off the 5th inning for the Rays. Scoreless, Rays have only had 2 base runners. Both have been wiped out by Dioner Navarro. Loney was the first with a single, his first time up. He was running on a 3-2 pitch. DeJesus swung through it. Loney was gunned down from his knees by Navarro.
Emily bought a ticket to the gun show, Todd.
Yes,
she did. She bought a ticket to the gun show.
So that's why she was mentioning you in the weightlifting.
Well, it ended up at the gym. There's a great gym off site from the hotel.
Because that's not how you roll. You don't roll with the gym hotels.
Guess who else is on that program?
Oh, I'm sure there's a couple players.
Yeah, that's right. And same place. So
who do you have?
DeJesus.
Oh, okay. 0-2 to James Loney. Ripped foul, and the count stays 0-2.
That's one of my favorite sces from Anchorman when he's
gun
doing
show?
1,000 reps, making sure he reminds.
Is that what you do?
Overcount 34, 35. I don't know if you heard me counting there, but I did a lot of them.
That in the Tommy Boy scene. Which way to the gym?
BA, I don't know why you had me go to that gym when all I did was run on a treadmill. I don't need to pay. I can run outside. Toronto's beautiful.
It was a $15 ticket
Peer
to the
pressure.
gun show.
I don't know if you heard me counting, but I did over 1,000.
That's right. That's right.
Fly out to right to start the 5th inning. It has been a fun weekend to be here in Toronto. She mentioned that the U.S. has the most medals. The Canadian media would like to make sure you understand that the most golds, though, belong to Canada. That is, so when you see the standings in the U.S. papers, the U.S. is on top, most medals.
Right.
In the Canadian papers, it's flipped because they have the most golds.
It's all in the presentation.
It's all perspective.
That's it.
It's all perspective. I had a chance to check out a little beach volleyball here first night in, Thursday night. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to experience. I figured, when am I ever going to see a Pan American Games live? And it was cool. Watch the U.S. women win. Watch the Canadian men win their preliminary match. Good time. Logan Forsythe, the batter. 2-0 to him. Estrada's done a good job staying ahead of hitters for the most part. He did run into a little bit of a pitch count in the 2nd inning, but right now he sits at 63, 1 out into the 5th. Ball ripped foul, in and out of the stands.
One thing, anytime you have a pitcher that has a good changeup, that is the one pitch that can really, really help you when you do fall behind. Obviously, everybody wants to pitch out ahead. That's not going to happen all the time. So when you do fall behind, a good changeup gives you a chance to climb back into the count. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw one right here.
Pops up the fastball, and Smoke looks to the stands and has a play. In today's game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run during televised Sun Sports contests.
I see what the timing of that read right there is all about.
What?
Well, getting kind of desperate for a run. And so you bring this one out. You play this one out, and then David DeJesus catches one of those heaters, and the Rays go up 1-0.
That would be outstanding.
Wouldn't it?
We'll see if it plays out that way. He did challenge him with a fastball.
He did.
That was interesting.
Yeah, well, listen, he went traditional. 2-0 fastball, 2-1 fastball. And he absolutely got a pop-up and another one.
A little pop-up to short. Estrada threw 5 innings, facing the minimum. He is retired 8 in a row. We have ourselves the old-fashioned pitching duel today in Toronto. Flexing last half inning. It's your last chance to get your 2015 Rays Flex Pack. You select any 3, 6, or 9 games. Get 50% off parking, and you choose from one of 8 great gifts with your purchase. Pack start at just $59. Act now because sales end July 28th. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com today. Gianna Navarro hit the ball hard his last time up, lining out to Logan Forsythe. Hardest hit ball of the game from this Toronto offense. Josh Donaldson also lined out to right his first time up, but Chris Archer has done a nice job retiring 10 in a row in this Toronto lineup after an infield hit by Jose Bautista in the first. Called strike 1-1.
I mean, from both pitchers, it really is amazing that the lack of hard contact in this game. I mean, these teams offensively are going down rather easily up to this point.
Add to the count 1-2. Emily mentioned Pan Am games in town till July 26th. This is the only series during that stretch of 17 days that the Blue Jays are at home. Toronto started into the All-Star break with a trip that took them into Detroit for 3, Chicago for 4, Kansas City for 3. All-Star break, now back here for this quick 3-game series and on to the West Coast, Oakland and Seattle.
And that's why the Blue Jays really, really want and need this game. Because anytime you go out west, I don't care the competition, and it can be tough at times. But going out west, that's a tough road trip. That is a tough road trip. And a lot of these guys have been on the road for a long time because the road trip into the break, the break you go home, so you're on the road there. And this is a real quick series and back at it.
Swing and a miss. Navarro strikes out. That is the 3rd strikeout for Chris Archer, and a pitch down that he chases.
Yeah, this is that hard slider that will look like a curveball because it gets so much depth. If you remember the first at bat against Gianna Navarro, he stayed fastball with him. Fastball, 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 fastball. That at bat, you saw the slider come in. You saw a couple of changeups. So really changing his approach against Navarro, and he picks up the strikeout.
Here's Justin Smoke, who grounded out his first time up. Navarro stayed alive on the 1-2 pitch, but chased it out of the zone. Missed the next pitch, and that's not unusual for Chris Archer. Archer has, in his career, the highest percentage this season of any season of his career of chases out of the zone. 33.8% of what they call O swing percentage, out of the zone swing percentage. But when he gets those swings, which have been at the all-time high point of his career, he's also not getting much contact. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Smoke. He has the best O contact percentage in the American League. Now, this is the amount of times a player makes contact with a pitch outside of the strike zone. Archer, Garrett Richards, number 2, Corey Kluber, 3. So he'll get guys to chase, not Smoke here, but a lot of times on that slider where people aren't even putting the ball in play or fouling it off.
Well, Chris Archer, it's tough enough to hit him when he's out over the plate.
Right.
If he's on the fringes and beyond, his stuff is so dynamic that stat makes perfect sense.
Over the head of Forsythe, who is deep in the shift, but not deep enough.
You know what? You could not walk that out there and drop that in a more perfect spot than Justin Smoke did right there. Logan Forsythe, the shift is in effect. He is deep out into shallow right field, as you see him right there. And Justin Smoke is going to loft this and soft serve it right over the head of Forsythe and in front of Grady Sizemore.
That snaps 11 consecutive batters retired by Chris Archer. The Justin Smoke 1-out single. Here's Chris Colabello. Fly ball down the right field line towards the wall. Sizemore into the stands, and it's foul, and he can't get there. Great effort by Grady Sizemore.
He kept his eye on the ball the entire way, trying to make a play. You know, every out matters in games that are hotly contested like this one is. And he realized late that not going to be able to scale the wall and reach that pitch.
Colabello struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. First time he faced Archer in his career. This ball hammered to left, going back to Jesus, looking up. Home run, Colabello. 2-run shot. The Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead.
This is precisely the reason that John Gibbons put Chris Colabello in the lineup today. You know, you think about maybe Ezekiel Carrera getting the start against Archer. He goes with Colabello, and I think it was for this reason here. You put your big guns in the game against a guy who has absolutely owned you, and you hope for something like this. A breaking ball that didn't break.
9th home run of the year for Colabello, 35 RBIs. Quite a season for a guy that joined the team on May 5th. Archer knew as soon as the ball left the bat. And now Pilar to center field. Kiermaier drifts back, has a play. And there's 2 outs. So just that quickly, a single by Justin Smoke and a home run by Colabello. This is the quick strike offense we were talking about.
Yep, this is what this team does. I mean, we talked about a lack of hard contact, and Justin Smoke, you know, that ball wasn't hit very hard, placed very well, but Colabello, you know, one mistake, that was it. I mean, Chris Archer has been fantastic this entire afternoon, and he hung one slider, and it was not missed, and that's a 2-run deficit right now feels pretty large.
There's a strike, 0-1. The way Estrada's going, it feels huge.
It does, and they're going to have to really put some pressure on Estrada. He has had the Rays number now through 2 starts. They're going to have to make some noise at some point.
Last time the Rays faced Estrada, Toronto won the game 1-0 in 12 innings. Today we had a 0-0 game heading into the bottom of the 5th. Chris Colabello turned that around with a line drive home run into the stands above the Jays bullpen and left. 1-2 to Devin Travis. Being ahead 0-2, it's now full. Chris Archer, for the first time in 5 starts, allowing more than 1 earned run against the Toronto Blue Jays. He'd only allowed 1 run in 26 innings against the Jays this year, prior to that home run by Colabello in the 5th. Pitch number 75 about to be issued. And ball 4, good at bat by Devin Travis.
It really was, because that was the slider. You talk about the swing percentage and all of that, chase pitches. That was a good slider there by Archer. He kept it on the plate and presented it as a strike, took it out of the zone, and Travis, watch the tape. This is a pitch here designed for the swing and miss, and he gets that so often, not there. Good pitch recognition. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't put him in motion here. 2 outs, try to steal another run.
On the ground, fair ball past Evan Longoria down the left field line. DeJesus will cut it off. Travis to third, Reyes to second with a double the opposite way.
Well, here they go. They have 2 runs on the board with the home run, and all of a sudden a 2-out walk, and then this, a little slap, and he's able to get him between Longoria and the third base line.
So Reyes with his first hit of the game. The Blue Jays now have 3 hits in the inning and 4 hits in the afternoon against Chris Archer, who gets a visit from pitching coach Jim Hickey.
Well, you mentioned, too, the hot, muggy day. You give your pitcher here a little bit of a breather. Needs this out now.
As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #SSDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Cassidy gets our Data Strong fan of the game with that picture right there. Second and third, 2 outs. Archer has not worked out of the stretch very often today, dealing with Josh Donaldson out of the stretch. Fouled off, 0-1. First inning, Archer allowed a 2-out single to Jose Bautista, and then worked to Encarnacion out of the stretch. In this inning, the hit by Smoke worked to Colabello out of the stretch. That cleared the bases. And then after the walk, worked out of the stretch to Reyes.
This right here, this is one of those, this is the ball game moments. For the Rays to have a shot, Chris Archer needs to come up big against Josh Donaldson, who's having a monster season. And so far, so good.
Tied for the American League lead in RBIs with 62 coming in. Archer ahead of him 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes.
You know, not only are you facing Josh Donaldson, but you're facing a lineup that is one of the best in Major League Baseball in driving runs in with 2 outs.
Up high, 2-2.
And some of these sliders have lost the depth. You think about that one right there, stayed up and didn't really have good depth to it. The home run by Colabello, the slider was flat.
Fly ball right field. Sizemore has a play. Archer's going to allow 2, but get out of further trouble with the fly out to right off the bat of Donaldson. Chris Colabello has given Toronto a 2-0 lead after 5. Marco Estrada has been outstanding in his second career start against the Rays. 5 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. He's faced the minimum through 5.
He just hasn't given the Rays a whole lot out over the plate, changing speeds very well. He hasn't walked anybody. And then Chris Archer, he's been just as good, save for 1 pitch for Chris Colabello. He's worked the ball around the zone, but that one hanging slider is the difference in this game right now.
And Chris Colabello with a 2-run home run in the 5th. His work is done as he is lifted from the game for defense, and Ezekiel Carrera comes in left field for the Jays.
Absolutely proving our theory of why was he in the game in the first place, out playing defense, because they were looking. Listen, Chris Archer has owned the Blue Jays. So John Gibbons says, let me just put all of my home run guys out. Just let me load the lineup and hope somebody runs into a mistake. That's what happened, and now out of the game. We're in the 6th inning. defensive replacement in the 6th.
Yeah.
That tells you about the pitching in this game.
Tim Beckham leads off for the Rays. Beckham has the only extra base hit in this game against Marco Estrada. A double to lead off the 3rd. Swings through that changeup, 1-2. Beckham has hit in 7 straight games this season against the Blue Jays, hitting at over 400 against Toronto this season. Fights that one off and into the crowd.
And that was a fastball up. You see the last 2 swings? That's what Estrada can do with that changeup fastball combo. The changeup way out in front. Then he rushes a fastball up there, and that was a defensive hack. Look at this. Fastball. Oh, got to get it going. I mean, that's not an aggressive swing. That's what Estrada does. He takes the aggressiveness out of your swing.
In the air, Batista with a good break.
That's the same thing. That if as a pitcher, if you can get that swing from a hitter, where you talk about being in a guy's head, watch this right here. Same swing as the foul ball. Just a real emergency hack late. Absolutely, I mean, absolutely zero aggression. And that's the sign of a pitcher that's mixing very well.
In another fly ball.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on the fly ball. We talked about early on how he was an extreme fly ball pitcher, but it's been to the extreme today. The only hitter that was retired on a ball on the ground was Kevin Kiermaier, and that's because it was a bunt. It was by design to be on the ground. Every other out has been a strikeout, pop up, or fly ball.
Estrada dealing against the Rays. There you see the breakout. The ground out, as BA said, was the Kiermaier sacrifice bunt. So no pitches delivered where a guy's taking a swing and hit a ball on the ground.
Which is pretty amazing. I don't care if you're a fly ball pitcher or not. Someone has to get on top of one, right? And chop it.
Loney's was a line drive into center field. His base hit. Beckham's base hit was a double down the left field line that landed halfway to the wall. There's a little soft line drive. That's caught in the air. So there's another, what's technically a fly out. 2 outs in the inning. Follow the Rays all season long in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Shades of 3.5 weeks ago at Tropicana Field, Marco Estrada has faced the minimum 2 outs into the 6th inning. The difference today is the Rays do have 2 hits. It is not a perfect game thus far. But both those Rays hitters were wiped out by Deoner Navarro. Rivera flied out to left his first time up. One and one. These guys are facing Estrada for the 5th and 6th time in the last 3.5 weeks, but it's obvious that changeup is not being picked up very well.
No answer. No answer whatsoever. You wonder who does. You can't stay back. And that's why you call it a Bugs Bunny changeup. It doesn't have a ton of finish to it. It's straight 4-seam spin. It just never gets there. And these guys know he's got it. They know he's going to use it, and you just don't recognize it in time to stay back. You're just trying to foul that pitch off.
There it is, tripled up on the changeup and gets Rivera swinging his 3rd changeup and his 1st since the 2nd inning. It is 2-0 Toronto. Arrow to Tropicana Field Saturday, July 25th to watch the Rays take on the Baltimore Orioles, and stick around after the game for a post-game concert with country star Casey Musgraves. She'll be performing hits such as Follow Your Arrow and Biscuits. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up. Sixth inning baseball. Archer facing Jose Batista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Deoner Navarro. Throws the first pitch wide, ball one, back to the backstop. Batista with an infield hit and a ground out against Chris Archer. 2-0 game thanks to Chris Colabello with a 2-run home run in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Pitch fouled back. It's 1-1.
That's a good use for the mitten. Not going to throw those on today, but it'll keep that cold.
A little mitten koozie.
Yeah.
Foul back. It's 1-2. One of the only giveaway items that I still have from a visiting team is a ski cap that they gave away back a few years ago here in Toronto.
Really?
I don't have any other ski caps. I live in Florida.
Yeah, true.
And so I wear it inside out. I don't want to promote the fact that, you know, I'm with the Rays. I'm wearing a Blue Jays ski cap, so I wear it inside out. But it's
a Blue Jays
ski cap.
A toque.
Well, it could be a toque.
Yeah. They love that word here.
Here's Tim Beckham throwing out Jose Batista. Doug and Bob love their toques. The McKenzie brothers. One out here in the sixth. But really, Chris Archer had that one little blip last inning. And other than that, he has been locked down, which is no surprise against this Toronto Blue Jays team. He will not become the first pitcher since records were kept to go 5 straight starts of 7 innings, 3 hits or less, 1 run or less against an opposing team. But Chris Colabello changed that with 1 swing. Pitch to Edwin Encarnacion's a called strike, 0-1. Encarnacion has flied out to center field twice. In his career against Archer, 4 for 30, 3 of those 4 home runs. Popped in the air on the infield. Who wants it? Evan Longoria or Rene Rivera? It's Longoria who makes the play, 2 away.
Easier play for Evan, and that's the right play. Take charge. You're moving in. And make that play. Call off Rene Rivera. You know, those balls, when they're close to home plate like that, those pop-ups will go up and then almost start to spin backwards. So it's a more difficult play for a catcher. That's why you see them when those pop-ups around home plate throw the mask off and turn their body and face towards the backstop, towards the stands, because that ball's going to be spinning back and moving back into them, back to the field.
Line drive on 1 hop, stopped by Kiermaier, who thought about going for the dive and then backed off. Single with 2 outs for Deoner Navarro. Today, USAA honors all of our service members at home and abroad. So Navarro 1 for 3 today. Now 7 for 21 in his career against Archer. And here's Justin Smoak. Smoak singled ahead of the Colabello home run last inning. Hit number 5 for Toronto. That single by Navarro. Big swing and a miss. 0-1.
One thing on his mind right now, and that's to do damage. You know, 2 outs, a runner on. And Justin Smoak, he does have power.
Oh, and 1 the count to Smoak. Held up. The Rays offensively have been held to 18 hitters through 6 innings. 2 of them reached base, 2 of them wiped out. Same pitcher they're facing, who 3.5 weeks ago had a perfect game going for 22 hitters. So not a lot of at-bats against Marco Estrada. And if you're starting to wonder, can the Rays get to the bullpen? He has thrown 79 pitches through 6 innings, so he's still in pretty good order.
Yeah, very, very good. You think about that. That is, oh, goodness. 13 per.
Just over 13. So the struggles have continued today against Estrada. Chris Archer trying to keep it at a 2-0 game. Now he's behind in the count, 3-1. Ezekiel Carrera, who came on for defense in the top half of the inning, waits on deck. Sixth time today and second time with Justin Smoke. Archer has gotten to a 3-ball count and another big hack and no contact.
Well, Justin Smoke has the tendency to get long in his swing. And when you get long, you're trying to really drive the ball with a lot of power, but a long swing is a slow swing. And that's why you see Archer challenging him with those 95, 96 mile an hour heaters up in the zone.
Navarro with the head start, foul tip caught by Rene Rivera, strikeout for the final out of the 6th inning. So we head to the 7th. It's Toronto 2 and Tampa Bay nothing. Geico, great moment in history. On this date in 2008, Evan Longoria with his first career grand slam off Roy Doc Halladay. Tampa Bay defeats Toronto 6-4 at Tropicana Field. Evan Longoria with a grand slam in his rookie season of 2008 has 3 total. The one against Halladay, the one against Justin Masterson in 2009, and then one against Mark Burley of the Toronto Blue Jays in 2013. Rays would love to put a runner or 2 on base for Evan Longoria in this inning as they trail 2-0 in the 7th inning. In the top of the order, John Jaso to be followed by Grady Sizemore and then Evan. Marco Estrada has retired the Rays for 6 innings today in the minimum fashion on 2 hits and no walks. Starts out Jaso with a called strike on the changeup. Breaking ball, 0-1. 80 pitches for Estrada, who's never thrown a complete game in his major league career. On the ground, into the shift. Easy play for Jose Reyes on the right side of the infield, and there's 1 out in the 7th.
First ground ball. First ground ball by a Rays hitter off of Estrada, and it was right into that shift. He just continues to cruise along, making it look very easy. Weak contact.
Grady Sizemore has fly to right and fly to left today against Estrada. Closest Marco Estrada came to a complete game was in that start against the Rays, where he retired the first 22 before Logan Forsythe broke up the perfect game with an infield hit, 1 out into the 8th. He went 8 2/3 innings in that game, but had thrown 129 pitches. So they did not, after the Rays got another base runner on in the 9th, they did not allow him to finish that game. He was pretty much taxed in terms of his pitch count. struck out 10 in 8 2/3 in that game against the Rays. Today, he has only struck out 3. But as BA mentioned, he has been keeping the Rays hitting the ball softly in the air primarily today. There you see his pitch count. 86 total pitches. That game against the Rays, even though he was close to 9 complete innings, nobody had scored in that game. So even if he got through that 9th inning, it would have been extra innings. But that's as close as he's come to a complete game. Prior to this season, 8 had been his high innings total in any start of his career. 1-2 is fouled back. You look at this Blue Jays rotation, and we don't see Mark Burley in this series. They actually gave him a little bit of a breather coming out of the All-Star break, which he probably deserves since he hasn't missed a turn in the rotation in 14 years. 14 and a half as we get to the All-Star break. Softly hit ground ball. Travis charges, underhand school away. But if they could add one arm, because right now their 5th guy keeps rotating. Lately it's been Felix Dubron. They've used Boyd. They've used other guys earlier in the year. If they could add one arm, we've seen Estrada at his best.
Yep.
Hutchison has a good record and pitches well here at home. Then you've got Burley and Dickey, the veterans. They could add one more arm with this offense. Scary to think what they might do in the second half.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is absolutely the fear if you're a Rays fan. But, you know, we'll see what happens. You know that Alex Anthopoulos is burning up the phone lines right now because he absolutely is actively searching and has made no bones about doing so. And I think they may even be looking for some more help in the bullpen. You've got some good young arms down there, but you add another piece. I think if you're in the Blue Jays position, you cannot take, and we already saw the graphic of how far this offense is ahead of everybody else in runs per game. You cannot waste that because pitching is what has held this team down.
1-1 to Longoria in the air to right center field. Pilar converges and makes the play in front of Jose Bautista and flips the ball into the crowd. So down go the Rays, 1-2-3 again. Estrada's faced the minimum through 7. on tomorrow's Rays Live pregame show, driven by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll hear from Rays left-hander Matt Moore, who will make his 4th start at the big league level, coming back from Tommy John surgery. And Orestes Estrada will break down Evan Longoria. That's tomorrow, beginning at 6:30, as the Rays will head to Philadelphia for a series. 7:05 first pitch. It'll be Matt Moore against the righty from Philadelphia, David Buchanan. Here's Ezekiel Carrera getting his first at bat of the day. Came on for defense in the 6th inning and fouls the first pitch of the inning from Chris Archer. 0-1. See Carrera's numbers on the season. Ezekiel got a start in yesterday's game. Did not start the Friday night game. This is wide with a fastball, 1-1. Archer up to 96 pitches. One and two.
And still not losing anything. You see Brandon Gomes getting busy in the Rays bullpen. That last fastball clocked at 95 miles an hour, and that's something that Chris Archer has done a nice job of this year. He's kept himself in good shape, came into the season, into spring training in good shape, and he maintains his stuff throughout the game. No drop off.
Now the count's 2-2. Archer making his 20th start of the season. He got to the midway point of the Rays schedule and had 18 starts. There's a swing and a miss, and Archer picks up strikeout number 5, back-to-back hitters.
And then that slider that he features to the left-handed hitters looks like a curveball. Look at this, 88 miles an hour. Look at that thing just roll right off the edge of the table. Shouldn't say roll. That's a tight spinner.
You can almost hear the seams.
Yeah. I mean, everything that he did, he's so tall and lanky. He creates great leverage by staying over the rubber tall and driving the ball, downhill, and his hand speed out in front. His finish is what gives him that explosive fastball and that slider that he's able to throw so hard with so much break. That's a great example of it. He's quiet. You watch that hand when it gets to the top of the throwing motion to where he releases the baseball, and it is just boom. I mean, just explodes.
Hard hit ground ball, but right at Logan Forsythe, 2 away. Rays and the Jays splitting the first 2 games of this series. The Yankees won their first game against the Mariners and lost yesterday. Baltimore 1-1 so far against Detroit in their series. So the American League East, at least the top 4 teams, Boston lost twice, stayed the exact same place where it was coming out of the All-Star break, where the top 4 are separated by 4.5. These Blue Jays will play the Rays in the final game of the season on October 4th at Tropicana Field. There'll be a special start time that day, a 3:10 Eastern start.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Every game in baseball, all 15 games starting at 3:10 Eastern, whether you're in the Midwest, West Coast. That's a cool idea.
It's an awesome idea. A long time coming, but because if you're a team that's fighting for a playoff spot, you play later in the day or East Coast time, and you see that the team that you're jogging for position with loses, well, then maybe you don't have to start your race, and now you have him for the playoffs. And this eliminates that. If you got to win, you've got to win, and everybody's playing at the same time, so there's no scoreboard watching.
That will make scoreboard watching.
Well, yeah, just not staggered scoreboard watching. That's going to be a fun day.
That will be. And the way the East is going, and the way the whole wild card looks right now, it could very well come down to game 162. And that's what's going to make it interesting with the trade deadline too, because how many teams really feel like they're out of it right now, with as bunched up in the standings are?
Not many. I mean, you start to hear the stuff about the San Diego Padres, being sellers perhaps, and James Shields may be on the move, on the market, and that team's only 6.5 out of the wild card. So do they make a move? We'll see.
Chris Archer finishes off the 8th with 106 pitches and his 6th strikeout as he gets Devin Travis to end the inning. Folks, Diamond Source game summary. That line drive home run by Chris Colabello, the difference in this game. 2-0 Toronto as we head to the 8th inning. Chris Archer allowing just that one swing for a 2-run shot. They'd like to have that slider back, and Marco Estrada has picked up exactly where he left off with the Rays 3.5 weeks ago when he was perfect through 22 batters. He has faced 21 batters today, and 21 batters have been retired through 7 innings. 2 guys got hits, including James Loney, but then they were taken off the base paths. Starts that 8th inning with a pitch up high to Loney, 1-0. Loney with one of the 2 hits. Tim Beckham led off the 3rd with a double, and that's it. No walks, no errors committed by Toronto. And with Loney being thrown out trying to steal and Tim Beckham picked off on 3rd base, the Rays have had 21 batters through 7 innings, and Bo Schultz and Roberto Osuna, who will become the back end of the bullpen guys for John Gibbons here, are loosening in the bullpen.
That's the best visual that we've given the fans all day. Get the bullpen in here. I mean, you're begging for the bullpen right now the way Estrada is throwing.
95 pitches and a 2-1 count to James Loney. Loney, Logan Forsythe, David DeJesus. The Rays trying to get something going in the 8th inning. In the air, this won't start the inning the way the Rays wanted. A pop up to Josh Donaldson, 1 away.
Well, Deoner Navarro, he has victimized the Rays twice. From the knees here on a strike him out, throw him out to get James Loney. And then this was the big one. Rays looking for an opportunity to get Tim Beckham home. He saw something. He had an open lane, drop to the knee, throw on the target, and that would end that inning and end that threat.
Today's High Def highlights presented by H.H. Gregg. Here's Logan Forsythe. I didn't notice until that first angle of that play how Donaldson really snuck in there. And Beckham had no idea Donaldson was close to that bag.
And because the way that Navarro got rid of that ball, they had that play on. They saw something. They were in on it together, and and that's how it went down. And Navarro, to his credit too, he caught that pitch and kept his head on the pitcher. He didn't give it away with a quick head snap. He caught the pitch, and then as he started to take it out is when he found 3rd base. Donaldson snuck in behind him. That is a big league setup right there.
There's a base hit from Logan Forsythe into left field. That may get things going for the Rays, who now bring the tying run to the plate. Chris Archer has given his team an opportunity to win this game, allowing 2 runs through 7 innings. And the last 2 times coming off the mound, he's been trying to spark the bench a little bit by getting them going, saying, hey guys, we got a chance to take this series against the Blue Jays. Let's get something rolling here, as Archer trying to fire up his teammates. Down 2-0. Here he is coming off the mound and into the dugout. That's my best inning right there.
How fun would it be to play with this team?
He is especially fun.
Oh.
He has taken over. He's basically become David Price on this team.
Yeah. Well,
remember how much of a cheerleader Price was?
Yeah.
He has taken the role of his mentor.
Listen, these guys love to play baseball. They love to play baseball together. I mean, it's a close team. And you love to see that kind of stuff. That's that enthusiasm that this is why guys step up. Everybody's pulling for everybody. There are no cliques on this team. And so, when there's an opening, everybody's encouraged, hey, you can do it, you can do it. You see guys popping in and getting jobs done. Just a whole lot of fun. It'd be a whole lot more fun if they can scrape a couple runs here together.
DeJesus at the plate, down 0-1, now down 0-2. DeJesus struck out. Turned out to be a double play. Strike him out, throw him out, and is also popped up to the shortstop. Logan Forsythe on first. Just the 3rd Rays hit of the day. You hear about clubhouse chemistry so much, and it's impossible to define, but I think that's part of it. No clicks. Yeah. Everybody pulling the rope in one direction.
And it's not always the case. That is not always the case. Forget at the big league level anyway. Just It's a special group that's able to pull that together.
Crowd of 41,683 cheering on Marco Estrada, and he unleashes a pitch way out of the zone, 1-2. 103 is his pitch count. He is working with his final few pitches of the day, you would imagine. This bat again, and now it's 2-2. Tim Beckham, who had a double, the lone extra base hit against Estrada, waits on deck. Swing and a miss, gets to Jesus.
We've seen the changeup set up the fastball. We've seen the fastball set up the changeup. And here, after a couple of hard fastballs up and out of the zone, I think David DeJesus there is thinking maybe I'm going to get the changeup. You know, you get the hitter thinking maybe this is coming, but I don't want to get beat on the fastball. And that's where you, again, that swing, not very aggressive. That's been the story all afternoon, is the aggressiveness of the Rays hitters' swings. It's been gone. It's been defensive hacks all day.
Beckham takes a pitch low, ball one. Beckham with a double, also fly to right. Has 2 of his 5 home runs this season against the Toronto Blue Jays. Almost had a third, but was robbed by Kevin Pillar in left field earlier this season here at the stadium. Up high, 2-0. Estrada has thrown as many as 129 pitches in a start. That came against the Rays in that game we talked about 3.5 weeks ago. But normally they keep him between 100 and 110. Right now he is at 107. Foul ball. 2-1. $41,683 today. The weekend series against the Rays drew over 116,000 big crowds all weekend long here in Toronto.
Here we go. You know, the 2-0, we've seen him come back with 2-0 fastball, 2-1 fastball. Here's a 2-1 changeup. Look how far out in front Tim Beckham is. And now you've gotten into his head. He fouled off the heater before that, way out in front on the changeup. If you come with the heater here, you probably get a defensive, emergency swing. If you come with the changeup, he's going to be way out in front. You've got him in between. You can go either way.
Instead he goes curveball, bounces it in there, 3-2, and now Forsythe gets a head start.
Yeah. Thank you. Again, I mean, that's all you can do right there. Curveball is the last pitch that you're thinking of. Maybe that's why he went to it, but regardless, you're right. Now with the full count, a runner in motion, got some action.
Rays haven't had much action offensively in this game. Blue Jays crowd has watched a dominant performance from their right-hander from Mexico, Marco Estrada. Now time is called. Swing and a miss at the changeup. Estrada threw 8 shutout innings, and now 21 scoreless innings against the Rays in 2015. No, and another fine performance by Chris Archer.
Did everything that he could to keep his team in the game and give them a chance to win, something that he's done just about every time out. He made one mistake today. That was it, and there it was. It was a hanging slider to Chris Colabello, and that was the margin for error so far. Other than that, Archer's been good with the slider, good with the fastball, and trying to get his boys going.
Love the enthusiasm from Chris Archer. The margin of error today, one slider away, a misplaced slider away from 7 shutout innings as Brandon Gomes deals with Jose Reyes, and he fouls one back.
And probably wishes he was still out there. You heard him telling everybody in the dugout, that was my best inning. I just got pulled after my best inning.
106 pitches.
Yeah, well, he's up there, no question.
Brandon Gomes takes over, 32nd game of the year. It's a Toronto Blue Jays team he's very familiar with. He has not pitched against any team more in his career than the Blue Jays. And Reyes sends one into left. David DeJesus comes on for the first out.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the next half inning. Yeah, I think if you're the Rays, you're cheering. I don't care who you bring in out of the pen. They can't be much better than Estrada has been. And with his pitch count where it is, man, if you're John Gibbons, you want him to go back out there, but maybe not with that pitch count. It's up there for him.
Here's the thing. He threw those 119 pitches or 118 pitches in the game against Baltimore when he had the no-hitter in the 8th. Then he threw the 129 against the Rays in the perfect game bid. And then he wasn't good the next start and admittedly was gassed.
Yeah.
So that's just a few weeks ago. So now he's over 110. You're flirting with danger again if you want him to be effective in his next start.
Right. I still, like I said, I still think that Rays dugout will break out into cheer when that bullpen door opens, if it opens.
Tough decision, but I think Gibbons may have already made up his mind. It's 1-1 to Josh Donaldson. Donaldson said he's looking forward to heading out to Oakland for that next series. Acquired from the Athletics this offseason in a trade, and now he'll be returning back to the Bay Area on the West Coast for that series that begins Tuesday. Toronto will have the day off tomorrow. Down low, 3-1. Gomes retired all 3 batters he faced on Friday night in the opener of this series. Gomes faced Russell Martin, Ezekiel Carrera, and Kevin Pillar, now dealing with the top of the Blue Jays lineup. Way inside, ball 4. So here's Jose Bautista, who had one of the 5 hits against Chris Archer. It was an infield single in the first, also grounded out twice to the shortstop. You can see Brandon Gomes has had success in his career against the big right-handed hitting Toronto Blue Jays right fielder. Missed on 5 out of 6 now has Gomes. It's 1-0 to Bautista. Looking ahead to the Rays in the 9th inning, they have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up. Kevin Kiermaier, Rene Rivera, and John Jaso. High pop-up foul. Longoria drifts over, but this will head out of play. 1-1.
Well, first things first, and that is you got to keep the Blue Jays at 2. And, you know, a walk to Donaldson. You've got power here with Bautista and Encarnacion next. Saw Rivera setting up close in there on Bautista. Let's see if they do indeed stay with that pitch, because they, for the most part, have pitched Bautista and Encarnacion away all series long.
2-2.
Wow, that was just spinning, staying in place. That was the old cement mixer slider, and Jose Bautista pulled off of it. It was just out in front, opened up quickly.
So bad it was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those pitches where it comes out of your hand. You do not have good thoughts about where that'll end up.
Bautista lays off, and now the count's full.
In fact, that's when you're walking back like Brandon is right there towards it, and you're saying to yourself, how did he miss that?
Brandon needs to make a pitch here, and with Encarnacion on deck, it's 3-2 with a runner on first and one out. Fouled away. The Blue Jays trying to get back to 500. The Rays trying to win this series and move to 2 games over 500. The Rays scored 2 runs in game 1, 3 runs in game 2, and have not scored in this game. There goes the runner, foul ball. Donaldson was on the move. Next time the Rays will see Toronto, they play them here coming out of the All-Star break, will be a series in September back here at the Rogers Center, and then they wrap up the season in October at Tropicana Field.
Final 2 weekends of the year.
That'll be interesting.
Very.
I think the Rays will have a few bullpen arms in September.
Yeah. I mean, you may not have a starter qualify for a win. Just 4 innings, get out. We're going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Archer will.
Maybe. He's got the best chance. I'll give him that.
We have a 3-2 count once again on Jose Bautista. There goes the runner again, and again it's a foul ball. Donaldson getting some sprints in between first and second.
Oh, cardio workout. Yeah, now he's taking his time. Not so quick to get back to first because he's probably going to be on the move again.
Bautista's seen a lot of pitches in this at bat from Brandon Gomes. And he drills one to center field. Kiermaier back to the track, jumping, home run Bautista. Great effort by Kiermaier, but it's 4-0 Toronto.
He didn't miss that slider. Missed one early in the at-bat. It was a prolonged at-bat. He had seen all the pitches. And, boy, he got one that stayed middle. And he got it.
Kiermaier did not miss this by much.
No, climbing the wall. That was tremendous effort. He just had no shot.
10 pitch at bat. The 10th pitch leaves the ballpark. And now it's 0-1 on Encarnacion, and just like that, a 2-0 game has become 4-0. 2 2-run home runs today. Gomes had good numbers against Bautista before that at bat, but he gets them for the first time in his career. And Gomes has good numbers against this guy, Encarnacion, as you can see. 4 punch-outs and 6 at bats. All 4 Ks coming in his last 5 ABs against Brandon. Gomes ahead 1-2. Oh, that makes things a little more difficult now.
Very difficult. We had that stat earlier where the Blue Jays have scored 4+ runs in 36 separate innings. I think the Rays, how many times for them? Maybe 4. They've been able to do that. And that's what they're going to be asked to do in the top of the 9th if they want to prolong this game, to score at least 4. Tall order.
Nice to look relaxed when you have an offense like this.
Yeah, you remember not too long ago he was standing up, wondering how this inning was going to go. Now he's just relaxed, feet up. And you're right, when they get pitching, you know, that's how dangerous that team can be if they make some moves towards that end.
Playable for Kiermaier. High fly ball to center. And Encarnacion is retired for the second half. There were years here back in the glory days where they would get 4 million fans here.
Incredible.
And it's starting to get that resurgent feel again.
Well,
where big crowds have shown up this weekend. They're into every pitch. You'll never see 4 million again, but the fans here are starting to enjoy themselves. We do have a pitching change with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Xavier Cedeno will come on for the Rays. We'll tell you about him next. Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Look, BA. More perilous, fearless adventurers on top of the Sienta.
Trying not to look.
Nate Leet, for as far as we know, is in the Rays clubhouse and not up there right now. Xavier Cedeno takes over here in the 8th.
I heard that you have the option on that lean out to flip around and lean forward.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people not only will go up there, but they'll turn and lean like you're gonna fall and lean forward. Yeah, that's a bit much.
Deanna Navarro turns around, hits right-handed for the first time today. You see what he did against Chris Archer, 1 for 3 with a single. Cedeno trying to keep the game at 4-0. With 2 outs here in the 8th, it's 1-1.
Yeah, and with this matchup here, obviously the Rays wanting to flip Navarro around. And you see they have the old picket fence set up on the left side, the shift.
1-2.
Another pitch like that, you may not need it.
Navarro enjoyed his all-star break in the Tampa Bay area. He lives down in the Riverview area south of Tropicana Field. Only one Blue Jays player was on the team charter coming back from Kansas City. One. Swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. Navarro's retired. He leaves home plate, so Rivera doesn't have to tag him, and that'll do it for the Blue Jays here in the 8th. So the Rays need to rally down 4-0 as we head to inning number 9.
to try and scratch 4 runs across now and tie this game up. Rich Hollenberg, Orestes Estrada, high above home plate here in the Rogers Center. Getting you ready for Rays Live post game, brought to you by Checkers. And we get to not only look back at this game, but we'll also take a look at the upcoming Philadelphia series.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you're looking at trying to win series. And right now it's going to be a tough task to try to not just make up 2, but now make up a double of that, of 4. But they have to start looking at series and series and series. As you and I were talking about just a little while ago, 23 series left going into the second half, and some of them need to start getting beat up now, and they need to start winning some games.
TK and BA, back to you guys. They have good memories of Philadelphia having won there in the regular season a lot, but obviously back to 2008, the bad memories of the World Series loss.
No doubt about it. Roberto Osuna takes over here in the 9th inning, appearing for the 40th time. High octane fastball coming at you around 95. Starts out Kiermaier with 1 up and in, 1-0.
Yeah, we've seen a number of these Blue Jay relievers coming out with big arms, big fastballs. Osuna, another one.
Kevin, a sacrifice bunt and a soft line drive back to the starter, Marco Estrada. There's a line drive and a base hit for Kiermaier to the wall. Carrera plays it off the wall. Kiermaier will stay at second with a leadoff double for the Rays.
Well, like I said, this Rays lineup ecstatic that they're not facing Estrada anymore. Traditional fastball, high octane, and Kiermaier goes right with it, able to squeeze it past the defenders. And the Rays with a start.
2-4, such a big difference.
Didn't even want to think about it. Did not even want to think about that home run. You're right.
Here's Brandon Guyer pinch hitting for Rene Rivera. Guyer coming off the bench, hit a home run in yesterday's game. For Guyer, it was his 4th of the year. Good cut at a fastball there and fouls it away. Guyer has had more pinch hit opportunities than anybody on the Rays team this year. This is his 23rd pinch hit at bat. He's 6 for 22 with 1 pinch home run and 6 RBIs. Marco Estrada left the game after 111 pitches and 8 innings of shutout baseball. Estrada has now shut out the Rays for 21 innings this season. 5 out of the bullpen, or 4 1/3 out of the bullpen, the rest as a starter. Called strike, 1-2. Roberto Osuna pitched in this game, in the game Friday night here at Rogers Center. Retired David DeJesus, Jake Elmore, and Kevin Kiermaier. Swing and a miss to the fastball, and down goes Guyer.
Yeah, shaking his head, and you understand why. You get the 2 strikes with Osuna, and he wants to expand up. That was 97 miles an hour at the letters. You just don't have a chance.
John Jaso, the DH, looking for his first hit today. In that series in Philadelphia, the Rays will face a righty tomorrow, and David Buchanan, a righty on Tuesday. Aaron Nola, LSU product, making his major league debut, and a lefty on Wednesday afternoon, Adam Morgan. Rays anticipating seeing Steven Souza Jr. back for that series. Souza Jr. rehabbing last night for the Charlotte Stone Crabs as the DH. Anticipating playing in the outfield today. The big news is felt no pain in the finger, so he should be good to go when he's eligible to come off the DL Tuesday. 1-1 the count to John Jaso. 1-2. Roberto Osuna, non-save situation, but he has taken over the closer's role recently for John Gibbons.
Well, overpowered Jaso with the fastball, and I did not like the look of the last two swings from John Jaso. And the hand coming off the bat, the last two did not look good, did not look right.
See what you're saying.
Yeah, and the one before was just as bad.
Dealt with a wrist injury earlier in the season. He says it does give him some trouble time to time. Maybe he's feeling it a little more today.
There was evidence of that, no question about it, because those were not John Jaso-like swings.
Rays down to their final out. Grady Sizemore flied to right, flied to left, and grounded out against the starter Marco Estrada. Estrada for 8, and now turning it over to Roberto Osuna for the 9th inning. Up high, 1-1. Rays trying to avoid being shut out for the 9th time this season. The Blue Jays as a staff have 5 shutouts on the year. Now it's 1-2. And now you will see 41,000 plus at the Rogers Center rise to their feet. Taking the finale of this weekend set 4-0 in a game that took exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes. And for the first time since 2007, when they were the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Toronto has won back-to-back series against Tampa Bay. 4-0 the final. Roberto Osuna for the 9th, Marco Estrada for the first 8. And the Rays lose 2 out of 3 this weekend at the Rogers Center. Coming up next, it'll be our Rays-Phillies telecast tomorrow night on Sun Sports beginning at 6:30. That's our next game broadcast. But next here on Sun Sports will be the Rays Live postgame show, hosted right here in Toronto by